Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 are the greatest zombie games of all time, hands down. Now I know that's something you haven't already heard 1,000 times over, but why is that? Sure, mods play a big role in keeping the game alive 17 years after the first release, but if the bones weren't any good, surely the house would not still be standing, right? Get it? Zombies, bones. But what exactly were those bones that were erected when a lot of us were teenagers that keeps us coming back well into adulthood? Hold up, don't just gloss over. My theory is that Left 4 Dead is not a great zombie game. Well, I mean it is, but it's not only a great zombie game. Come on, you knew what I meant, don't be a jerk. Left 4 Dead is a great zombie game and memory maker. And I think there's 3 reasons why the foundations of these games are so good. And just in case you have no idea what I'm babbling on about and just happened to click on this video, I'll explain it in a way that even gaming executives will understand. Think of Fortnite and now take away the Battle Royale, the Storm, the outlandish skins, the emotes, the large variation of weapons, chests, and the third-person camera. Wouldn't that mean it's nothing like Fortnite at all? Exactly. The games are full of campaigns that are linear as hell. The resource and weapon variation is pretty limited, especially in the first game. More so in the first game. And it is very gory. That is something you're not going to get in Fortnite. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, that sounds lame as shit, bro. You're not just wrong, you're stupid. And you're ugly like your mother. The games are gory, but they aren't especially grotesque. You don't see really mutilated, messed up stuff that you would see than like Silent Hill. That is a totally different monster, and I'll talk about that one day. But the game still has a unique way of instilling fear in the players. Yes, the atmospheres are eerie, and they really do a good job at making you feel like you're in a world that was once lived in, and now there's only 4 people that are actually alive and the rest are all zombies. The real way they instill fear is first through the zombies themselves. In a market dominated by slow-moving brain zombies, Left 4 Dead is the first game that at least I can remember that had sprinting zombies. You know how terrifying that shit is? Like 13, 12, I don't remember. 2008, I was young, I was a freshman in high school. You know how terrifying that shit is to see zombies sprinting at you and screeching this horrible, nasty sound? I will never forget playing this game with my brother for the first time and coming out of the second safe room on No Mercy, trying to make it up the fire escape, and screaming like those goats that dominated the internet for a little while. You think that even like climbing will get you away from them, because that is the case in a lot of games. Like even Dying Light is a very good franchise in my opinion. Only only the ones that can run can chase you onto buildings, and that's not all of them. And Left 4 Dead, all of them can run, and they will chase you. That all kind of works together to make this sense of urgency and fear that you're not gonna make it through the campaign. Like you might not even make it to the next safe house, let alone escape in the finale. And it would be one thing if it was like a handful of zombies every now and then. No. These clowns will attack you in hordes. There's really like 3 primary reasons you'll get attacked by hordes. One of them is just random, like the game thinks that you're just having too good of a time, and guess what? Yeah, now you gotta deal with that. That's not ideal. More on that later, by the way. The spawns are random, but not so random at the same time. I'll tell you what I mean later. The second and probably least common reason that you get swarmed by hordes is loud noises, and that's basically just car alarms. And then you got the scripted portions of the levels that are required to progress, like a crane, hauling an elevator, stuff like that. Those car alarms are pretty easy to avoid.
Don't shoot the car!
The scenarios that you have to make the noise to progress are, I don't want to say infinitely worse, because it really depends on what difficulty you're playing on. If you're like me, masochistic, you play on the harder difficulties, and those swarms do not stop. They will knock you down in like 10 or less hits, which sounds like a lot. It can be, but if you're playing with AI or incompetent teammates, you might not make it. But I'd say the second most common method of alerting the horde is my spirit animal, the boomer. This guy is so repulsed by the look of your face, and mine, don't be offended, that he throws up And if that gets on you, it not only will attract swarms of zombies, it will also obstruct your view with said vomit. Isn't that gross? I hated that when I was a kid. That was so nasty. But if you're playing versus mode against other human beings, oh my god. Oh my god. Some of these people are so creative at getting you without even being seen. I'm one of them, by the way. Look at this. Now, I couldn't tell you how I got this, but I did. I don't remember it at all, but I got it. Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you. But say you do get the jump on the boomer and push him back, but not far enough. Or you might not even know if it's your first time playing. You shoot the thing and he explodes on you. Pause. And the same thing happens. You can't see and you're being swarmed, which induces panic because you either have to have competent teammates or be in a good enough spot that if you're playing by yourself, the computer-controlled survivors will protect you. This is one of the many special infected. In the first game, there are only 3 special infected: the boomer, the hunter, and the smoker. And Left 4 Dead 2 brought us the charger, spitter, and the jockey. And then you have 2 boss special infected. But I'll get to those next. These special infected are, well, special. They are designed in a way that if you think you're hot shit, they will remind you that you are nothing but a speck on this planet. Don't venture too far ahead, or you'll probably get jumped by a hunter and mauled to death. Don't fall too far behind, because you might just get grabbed by a smoker during one of the points in the map where you can't turn back. So if he gets you, your teammates can't help you. You could make it to the end of an act and a charger blasts your ass right off a ledge and you're done. Hopefully your teammates make it. You can't. You don't have any say at that point, so good luck to them, I guess. And then you got the bosses, the tank and the witch. 2 very different infected. There is nothing worse. Well, actually, there is one thing worse. There's almost nothing worse than getting close to the end of an act and then just hearing, and then you have to fight this roided out monster. If you're close enough to the safe room at the end of the act, you can just gun it and hope that you make it there in time, because he can't break that door down. But if he decides he's gonna just make you restart right at the beginning, there's no hiding in that safe room. He will break that door down. And his name is Tank, so he's got a lot of health. He's not easy to take down unless you are very coordinated. And when he keys onto you, it is not a great feeling. You get hit and you fly the length of a football field away from your teammates. And he can throw rocks. He can throw concrete at you too. So good luck. The only thing worse than a tank is a witch, especially one that's right in your path. That is, how is that even fair? She will literally sit right in the middle of the path, and it'll be like on the single ramp that you have to take to get onto another rooftop or something. It's diabolical work, I must say. Remember how I said that the hordes aren't so random, but they are kind of random? They feel random, but they're not, essentially. Let me introduce you to the AI director. Ooh, icky word. Trust me, it's not that kind of AI. AI's been around a lot longer than a lot of people realize. It's not that kind of AI. So first of all, I don't know this in depth enough to tell you every detail. So I'm going to point you to the video I watched, but I'm going to sum it up as well. The AI director essentially calculates your stress level based off of how close the zombies are being killed to you, like how far away they are when you're getting killed and how many of them, and your health. It takes all kinds of things into account like that. And if the game just decides this guy's kind of smoking these things, let's stop that. You want to talk about stress levels? Let's talk about how stressed I get when that witch is sitting right in the path that I have to go through. And then I get swarmed by a horde because I'm sitting still for too long. I just don't see how that's fair, but it's not supposed to be, I guess. Which is fine. It's fine. By the way, the boss infected are not part of the AI director. It is predetermined which areas they'll spawn on the map, and your stress level does not get taken into account. They'll spawn regardless. You could be getting swarmed already, and then a tank pops up because you just crossed that threshold. But all in all, the AI director is a huge piece of why this game is so replayable. You could run No Mercy 3 times in a row and no run will be the same. But the AI director isn't just this thing that makes the game harder for the sake of being harder. It makes it more memorable. It emphasizes teamwork through adversity. The emphasis on teamwork and co-op is the bread and butter of this game. In a time where competitive gaming was really starting to take off, a lot of people still wanted to play with their friends, not necessarily against them. So if you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, the fear induction that the game crafts with its atmosphere and the different types of zombies and how they attack you, and the AI director, they go hand in hand to emphasize co-op and teamwork, which is, like I said, the bread and butter of the franchise. The goal of the game is not to be the toughest, scariest, horror-based game on the market. Like I said, it's not really scary. It's not overly grotesque. In the first game, you only had limb dismemberment, so you better believe when I saw the visceral damage that was being added to the second game, the fear and the AI director go hand in hand, emphasizing teamwork. The teamwork and the seemingly random gameplay loop, it makes the game so memorable because the moments that should be terrifying are so funny because your friends have to scatter to help you because you got too far ahead trying to find something or think that you're just hot shit and better than them, and now the hunter is having you for a little midnight snack. This also does apply to single player because if you try to leave your AI controlled survivors behind, the same stuff will happen to you, especially on higher difficulties. The hunters, the smokers, the boomers, they'll all just start flying out of nowhere. And that is part of the AI director. If you're too far, it'll start throwing things at you. Yeah. You're not so hot. Let's stop running off from your team. I don't know how many times I have to say this for you to understand. You might be able to get away with it on a lower difficulty, but I promise you, unless you're a god at the game, they're going to get you. And then you got to restart because you're playing with AI and not other humans. So I think this is what a lot of modern games, and not even just zombie games, fail to accomplish these days. In an era where game development is so much about how I can monetize something and crunch time deadlines, etc., the soul of the game just doesn't get put in like this one did. And I was a freshman in high school back when this game came out, so I have no idea what went into the development life cycle. It very well could have been rushed. I don't know. But they got the soul of the game right. The fear mixed with the AI director leading to the teamwork. It makes the game so memorable. And that is why we love it so much. Because we remember the good times that we had, laughing because we screamed as we were being chased by hordes and tanks and witches, and discovering the little mudmen in the swamp, being ridden by a jockey. Just so memorable. And that's what a lot of games just don't get down these days. Like, sure, they could be fun in the moment, but if it's not memorable, are you really going to come back to it years after? Mods are definitely playing a role in making the game last this long. But like I said in the beginning, the bones have to be good for the game to be standing still. Prime examples of memorable experiences being what us gamers actually want, and not even just in the horror genre. Look at Helldivers. That is kind of a similar formula to Left 4 Dead, but getting ragdolled by something and then having to pray that your teammate is able to beacon you back into the match, if you even have any lives remaining, while they're being swarmed by bugs and robots and shit. That is hilarious and terrifying. It's just a perfect combination. Those are the things that you remember because they stand out from the rest of the genre. And then you have a prime example of what failed to make the game replayable and memorable. Back 4 Blood. It really pains me to say that, as I'm sure a lot of you can relate to. I so badly wanted this to be the spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. I played hours upon hours just waiting for that feeling to come back. Like, man, I missed this. This is it. This is Left 4 Dead 3, basically. I love it. I don't hate the game, but it is not Left 4 Dead. The characters were not as charming. They weren't relatable. I mean, the whole reason we like the Left 4 Dead characters so much is they're regular ass people like us. that got thrown into a zombie apocalypse. And Back 4 Blood, they've been living through it already. I'm not a trained zombie killer. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, then you got the deck system. Personally, I don't like it. Remember how I said, I mean, how could you forget? But remember how I said Left 4 Dead, its bread and butter is emphasis of co-op. The deck system makes it so that you can basically be a one-man army if you know what you're doing. That is the opposite of teamwork, because if you're playing with randoms, which is the case for most people, I would assume, like, you're either going to be the person that's tearing through every zombie and having all of the fun if you don't get caught by something. It's like, I don't even remember what the special infected are in that game. I'm really not trying to dump on, I just don't remember. Or you're one of the other people that doesn't know how to build a deck, and I'll admit I didn't put the time in to figure out how to build a deck, again, because I wanted it to be like Left 4 Dead, and it wasn't. So my experiences were not as memorable. Did I have fun? Yeah, I had fun playing it every now and then. It wasn't doing it for me. I definitely wouldn't call it a failure, but it definitely does not succeed in doing what Left 4 Dead did. I love horror games. It's more of a realization than a newfound love, because I still played stuff like this, like Left 4 Dead back in the day, but didn't really recognize it as a horror game. But I love horror games, and I'm realizing that now. So join my casual dread club.
Love you. Join the club.
Call me when you get home. Drive safe. Bye.